Hello students, welcome you all for the class of MBA Semester 3 Human Relations and Legal Framework. Today is our lecture number 22 and the topic of our today's discussion is Employee State Insurance Act 1948. So the objective of our today's session is help to understand the various concepts of Employee State Insurance Act 1948. The contents of our today's session are Introduction to Employee State Insurance Act 1948, and it should be acronymed as ESICA, Employees State Insurance Act. Okay, and the year is 1948. Scope of ESICA 1948. Important definitions under ESICA 1948 and administration of this act, that is called as ESICA 1948. So first of all, we are going to start a discussion on this act, Employee State Insurance Act 1948. That Employee State Insurance Act 1948 was passed in 1948 itself. Okay, means just after the independence, and it was one of the very important provision that will provide a social security measure to the different employees, okay, those who are working in government sector as well as private sector, and primarily providing the benefits, okay, in case of sickness, okay, or maternity or any form of employment injury, okay, due to accidents. So particularly this kind of act has been provided socio-economic justice to according to the our directive principles of the state policy and part 4 of our constitution of India. Okay, particularly under the article number 41, 42 and 43. So this form of arrangement to provide the socio-economic justice which can be made available through this Employee State Insurance Act, okay, by means of providing some secured life to the individual workers or employees, okay. So there are some provisions for securing the right to work, to education, public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement benefit has been provided to the individual employees. So this act will provide different forms of provision to protect the lives of the individual workers, those who are registered under this ESICA. In all, when we are talking about this ESICA Act, okay, this will be called as a social insurance scheme. Okay, under this social insurance scheme, so there will be some different sort of contingencies that the worker has to meet. Okay, and to meet these regular contingencies, okay, say for example sickness, maternity benefit, okay, or temporary, permanent or physical form of disablement due to death, okay, or any form of unemployment injuries or during the course of employment or out of the employment, or resulting in any loss of wages or earning capacity of the workers due to accidents or hazards, okay, they are covered in this act. So this act will also gives you the guarantee reasonably for good medical care to the workers, okay, and to their dependents, okay, particularly those workers, those who are registered in this ESICA scheme. The primary objective of this act to provide the social welfare measures to the individual employees, those who are being the member of this ESIC, okay, with an object of providing certain benefits to the employees in case of specifically sickness, maternity and unemployment or employment injuries. So under this act, employees will receive some different forms of social security measure, okay, they will receive say for example medical relief, okay, cash benefit, maternity benefit, pension to the dependents of the deceased workers and other form of compensation for fatal and other injuries or diseases which are covered under this ESICA 1948. Then the scope of ESIC 1948. Okay, this Employee State Insurance Act has been applicable in all states of the India, and which has been notified according to the official gazette of the government of India. The act should be applicable almost in all states and union territories. This act can be also applicable in all the factories, and special provision has been made under some particular form of factories which are called as seasonal factories. Okay, there are some other provisions, okay, which are being related to the different forms of establishment that were covered under section 1.5. Okay, that the appropriate government can extend this provision to other class of establishment, means shop and other industrial establishment or commercial, agriculture, and all other establishment as covered under this ESICA scheme. When we are talking about the implementation of this scheme, this scheme can be get implemented through employee state insurance organization, and all the form of administration and its implementation can be done through this ESIC, okay, Employee State Insurance Corporation. This act can be also extended in another many other states, okay, particularly say for example shops, hotels, restaurants, cinema, okay, including theaters, newspaper establishment, road and transport undertaking employing more than 20 or more persons, okay. It can be also applicable to shops also, wherever nearly 20 persons are employed, okay, in that particular shops. So in all, when we are talking about this the scope of and applicability of this act can be applicable to almost all types of factories, seasonal factories, and some other form of industrial and non-industrial establishment, say for example shops also. Then we are talking about the important definitions under that ESIC. So various definitions has been there, and these definitions has been made available in different acts also, but they would have some different meaning, particularly in case of ESIC. So some sort of definitions are being defined over here. So let us see some definitions. Okay, so according to section 2M of the Factories Act 1948, so whichever form of factories which has been registered under the Factories Act 1948 in section 2M, okay, those will be treated as factories in the ESICA 1948. So whereon 10 or more persons are employed, where the employees are for wages on any day of the preceding 12 months, and in any part of which a manufacturing process has been carried out, on which the aid of power or in is ordinary so carried on, okay, means any person, any particular establishment, those are having 10 or more workers, those are working in that particular enterprises, okay, they can be registered, they can be treated as factories, okay. Even in some cases with or without power, okay, that provisions has been made under the Factories Act 1948, they will be also considered as factory under the ESICA. So these provisions were already mentioned in case of Factories Act 1948. Now when we are talking about more number of workers, some other special provisions has been made, particularly with respect to some large scale manufacturing, wherever 20 or more persons are employed, okay, in that particular factory, and getting wages more than 12 months, okay, in earlier case also 12 months condition can be there. So this kind of conditions can be made, okay, particularly all these establishments can be considered as factories. It does not include any kind of mining operations, okay, registered under the under the Act, Mining Act 1952, or railway running sheds, that are not considered as factories. So according to section 2K, Factories Act will also consider some manufacturing processes also. So that manufacturing processes can be also considered as factories, wherever making, altering, repairing, okay, ornamenting, fishing, packing, oiling, washing, cleaning, breaking up, demolishing, or other forms of treating and adapting any article or substance with a view its use, sale, transport, delivery, or disposal. So any sort of establishment, those who are dealing with this kind of businesses, they will be also considered as factory. Even some sort of businesses wherever pumping oil, okay, water, sewage, or any other substances generating, transforming and transmitting power, okay, composing type of printing, printing by letter presses, okay, lithography, photograph, or any other similar processes, that will be considered. Even book binding, that will be considered as factories. Constructing, reconstructing, repairing, okay, refitting, finishing, breaking up ships or vessels, okay, wherever such kind of work goes, that they will be considered as factories. Preserving or storing any of the articles in the cold storages, that will be also considered as factories. So when we are talking about the factories, so different forms of provisions has been made to consider all these establishment as a factory under the ESICA. Then employees, okay, this the definition of employees also vary from act to act, okay, particularly in case of ESICA. Okay, employee means what? Okay, employee means an any employee, those who are being registered under the ESIC scheme. Specifically, according to the new amendment, according to section 29 of the amendment 2010, any person employed for wages in connection with the factory or establishment to which the act applies. So any person, those who are being working in any factory or establishment and simultaneously registered under the employee state insurance scheme, those are being entitled to be declared as an employee who is directly employed by either by the principal employer or any immediate employer called as contractor. Okay, those will be called as employees. Who is employed through the any immediate employee on the premises of the factories or establishment under the supervision of the principal employer or his agent, okay, so they will be also considered as employees under the industrial establishment. Some other form of provisions which are being made for declaring the employees whose services are temporarily lent or let on hire to the principal employer by the person to whom person, okay, whose services are also lent or lent on hire has entered into the contract of service and includes any person employed on wages on any work concerned with the administration of the factory or establishment. Means this means that any kind of person, those who are employed, okay, either on lent basis or on higher basis, either by the principal employer or the immediate employer also, okay, they will be considered as an the employee of that industrial enterprise. The act could not be applicable to some particular kind of yeah, establishment, specifically the employees those who are belonging to Indian naval services, military and air forces. The person, those who are employed whose wages excluding the remuneration for overtime work exceed such wages may be prescribed by the central government. Central government has made some sort of provisions for the employees those who are getting wages excluding the remuneration of overtime. So any kind of employees, okay, those who are getting getting their wages excluding the remuneration from the overtime work and exceeding such wages may be prescribed by the central government. So means their wages, suppose their wages are exceeding as per the threshold limit of the central government, they will be not considered as employees in the ESICA scheme. So some special form of provisions has been made, particularly the employees. The central government has been prescribed the wages limit for the coverage of an employee under section 29 of this act is rupees 21,000 per month. So there should be some threshold limit, okay, or person those are driving the monthly wages of suppose say 21,000 or more, okay, they will be not considered as an employee, okay, under this act. Further, it is provided that the employees whose wages, excluding the remuneration of overtime work, exceed rupees 21,000 a month or any time after or not before the beginning of the contribution period shall continue to be an employee until the end of the period. So, okay, so for the particular period of time, okay, if any particular employee, those who are getting 21,000, okay, excluding any kind of remuneration of overtime work, okay, they will be considered as employee under this act. Then the next definition is principal employer. So any person, those who are being the owner or occupier of the factories or employing the number of persons in their factories to get the work done, okay, in the factories and registered under the Factories Act 1948, they will be treated as an principal employer, okay, in general. So all such kind of industrial establishment generally treated as a principal employer under the section 2 subsection 17 of this act. So any other industrial establishment, any person responsible for supervision and control of the establishment can be also considered as a principal employer. Okay, all the government departments will be considered as a principal employer under this act. Then immediate employer, okay, according to section 2 subsection 13a, okay. So any particular employer, those who have been appointing any other person to get the work done to the employees, say for example contractor, okay, they will be considered as another employer, or they will be called as an immediate employer under section 2 subsection 13a. So a person in relation to the employees employed by or through him who has been undertaken an execution on the premises of the factory or any establishment to which the act applies, are under the supervision of the principal employer or his agent. Means any particular person, those who are being employed by the principal employer or his agent and executing the work according to the principal employer, they will be treated as immediate employer, okay. So maybe in many of the cases the contractor would be there, that contractor would work under the principal employer, and therefore contractor will be treated as an immediate employer. Then family, okay. So particularly the family means it is the family means the number of persons or a particular relatives of that particular insured person, those who are being registered under the ESICA 1948. So family has been defined in section 2 and subsection 11. So family means nothing but the relatives of insured person, okay. This will cover spouse, means the wife of the insured person, a minor legitimate or adopted child dependent upon the insured person, okay, a child who is wholly dependent on the earnings of the insured person, okay, or any kind of child, suppose particularly they are receiving the education till he is attaining the age of 21 years, that will be considered as a family member. And any unmarried daughter, okay, particularly depend on the earnings of the insured person, they will be also considered as a family member. A child who is infirm by the reason of any physical or mental abnormality or injury, okay, and wholly dependent on the earnings of the insured person, will be also considered as a family member. Means any child, okay, those are generally called as maybe suppose say minor, okay, or those whose mental condition is not appropriate, and depending on the total earnings of that particular insured person, they will be treated as family member over here. Any dependent parents of that particular insured person, okay, that has been prescribed by the central government, okay, whose income from all sources does not exceed such income as may be prescribed by the central government, they will be called as dependents, okay. So say for example the insured person's parents, okay, will be treated as dependents in this case. In case of insured person is unmarried and his or her parents are not alive, a minor brother or sister wholly dependent upon the earnings of the insured person will be called as the family. So in case of any particular employee, those who are being unmarried, okay, his minor brother or sister will be treated as dependent, and there should be called as what, family member. Then employment injury, okay. as compared to the our compensation act, okay, similar form of definition has been made with respect to these injuries, okay, particularly in ESICA section 2 subsection 8. So injury means any personal injury caused to any particular employee due to accident or any form of occupational diseases, okay, they will be treated as injury particularly during the course of his employment, okay. So, being an insurable employment, whether the accident occurs or the occupational disease is contracted within the outside territorial limits of India. So, different forms of provisions has been made to define the injury according to section 28. So, in section 28, injury means any sort of injury which can be caused due to caused to an employee due to accident or any occupational disease, or even the occupational disease which has been contracted within the limits of India or outside the limits of India, which has been defined. So this will be called as the employment injury. Some other different provisions, we say for example, theory of national extension, okay, of employment would be taken in time when and the place of accident so as to bring it is within the employment injury or outside the employment injury. So where does exactly the injury happens, okay, that should be taken into account while defining the employment injuries. Then seasonal factory. Now we were already seen some factory means exactly what, okay. So any other factories which has been registered under the Factories Act, they will be treated as factory, but there has been special provision has been made with respect to the seasonal factories under the section 2 and subsection 19A. So any other factories, okay, those who are following some particular form of manufacturing processes, they will be treated as factories in ESICA. Particularly those businesses deals with cotton ginning, cotton or jute pressing, okay, decoration of groundnuts, decoration of groundnuts, the manufacture of coffee, indigo, lac, rubber, sugar, okay, including gur or tea or any manufacturing processes which is incidental to the connected with opposite processes. Means some sort of particular form of businesses, they are dealing with some sort of manufacturing or some sort of processing has been considered as factories. In any process of blending, packaging and repacking of tea or coffee, that should be also considered as a seasonal factories, okay. In other manufacturing processes which has been specified by the central government in the official gazette, so there are some particular manufacturing processes, they will be considered as the factories. Some other important definitions, those are being related with the ESICA Act 1948, that will be called as contribution. Now here in case of ESICA, okay, the contribution has been collected by means of workers and as well as from the employer, and finally it should be paid with as an employee insurance. So contribution means a sum of money payable to the corporation by the principal employer in respect of the employee, and includes any amount payable by or on behalf of the employee in accordance with the provisions of the act, okay. So contribution is nothing but the sum of money which has been collected from the employee and as well as the principal employer's contribution, okay, that should be deposited under the employee state insurance corporation for the benefit of that particular employee in future. Now what is that exempted employee, okay, this contribution has been covered in section 2 subsection 4. Exempted employee under the section 2 and section subsection 10. Exempted employee means the employees those who are being exempted, okay, are those who are being not liable to pay any kind of contribution to the employer, okay, those are called as exempted employee. Insured person, okay, that insured person has been cleared from the section 2 subsection 14. So any person who has been registered under the ESIC, okay, employee state insurance corporation scheme, are being called as the insured person, okay, or it means that person who is or was the employee in respect of whom contributions are or were payable under the act, who is by the reason thereof entitled to any of the benefit provided under the act. So according to this act, if any of the employee, those who are paying the employees contribution to the employer, okay, and registered under this ESIC act, those would be called as the insured person. Then sickness has been covered in section 2 subsection 20. Okay, sickness means it is a condition, okay, the physical condition which requires some sort of medical treatment or attendance and necessities abstention from the work from the medical ground. So any kind of some particular physical conditions which require any sort of medical treatment, okay, or some sort of attendance or necessitates or abstention from the work from on the basis of any sort of medical grounds or report, okay, that person will be declared as a sick employee, okay, and the sickness will be covered in section 2 subsection 20. Some other important definitions which are being just similar to our compensation act, and these are called as dependents, okay, permanent partial disablement, okay, permanent total disablement, and temporary disablement. So these are the some similar definition that which were already covered in our compensation act. Then administration of this ESICA. Now how does the Employee State Insurance Act in overall it should be implemented, for which the government of India has made a special provision by means of using the section 3. Okay, the government of India has enacted this act, okay, by means of making this provision uh, that is called as establishment of Employee State Insurance Corporation. Okay, so that Employee State Insurance Corporation will be a sole administrative authority to implement that Employee State Insurance Act 1948. So employees those who are being registered under that ESIC scheme, okay, they will be considered to be to get the benefit of that Employee State Insurance, okay, according to this act. So this act comprising of members representing the employees, employers and central and state government, besides representative of the parliament and medical profession people, those are being involved in this ESIC, okay, Employee State Insurance Corporation. So employee state in case of that Employee State Insurance Corporation, various representatives would be there, okay, and those who are being representing the ESIC. There will be some special committee that is called as standing committee. That standing committee has been constituted from amongst the members of the corporation, okay, and acts as an executive body who is primarily getting the work done through the different forms of administrative people, particularly those are belonging to ESIC. So that is called as standing committee. So standing committee has been constituted in this ESIC, and that ESIC will that standing committee will look after the overall execution and administration of that ESIC act. Along with that, there will be some different forms of provision, and that is called as medical benefit council, okay, that has been constituted by the central government and another statutory body that advises the corporation on matters regarding the administration of medical benefit, certification for purpose of the grant of the benefit, and any other connected matters that has been formulated by the central government. Okay, so this form of council and other statutory bodies which has been formulated under that ESIC, okay, Employee State Insurance Corporation, and that will provide the kind of support and other benefits to as a form of welfare measure to the individual employees, those who are being registered under the ESIC Act 1948. So that's all for about our today's session. Thank you very much.